So, one of the first questions we asked was, did you have a lawyer represent you in your divorce case? And by far, most of our respondents did. 79% had a lawyer. And then of those, most people were satisfied with their lawyer. So 70% said that they were either moderately or extremely satisfied. So that's sort of laying the groundwork there. Then we looked at the differences between when neither parent had a lawyer, when one parent had a lawyer, and when both had lawyers. Um, and I think a lot of people might assume that when both parents have lawyers, there might actually be more, let's say, heated arguments. You might be more likely to go all the way to a trial. But actually, what we found out was that when both parents had attorneys, they were actually most likely to settle in that case. So 86% of those cases settled. Um, the least likely time to settle would be when only one parent had an attorney. And in that case, 63% settled. So still more than half, but significantly less than when both parents had attorneys. And then when neither parent had an attorney, it fell pretty much in the middle. So that was something that was interesting. We didn't ask about causes, so we can't say, what's cause and effect, but just kind of thinking not out loud. I've thought about this beforehand, of course. Um, but some of my thoughts and some of the thoughts within the company, we've talked about this, and I'd be interested to hear your take also, um, is that perhaps when there's both sides, two attorneys involved, they're much more likely to tell their clients, hey, you want to settle the case, because in most cases, that is the recommendation, right? It's better for parents to come up with their own ideas about raising their kids and reach an agreement so that they tend to get along better then, and it's better for the whole family, most importantly, the kids. Do you have thought on that?
I do. I think that these study or these findings really are. I mean, there's always the does correlate. Correlation is not causation, and that. But the findings are consistent with at least my observations and our law firm and in how we view things. And I think that, yeah, there's a lot of people will meet me and they will say, "But what do you do?" And I'll say, "I'm a lawyer," and they'll say, "What kind of lawyer?" And we play this game, and I always say, I'm the lawyer that you never ever want to call because it means that you're going through a divorce. And then I can tell a lot of people will kind of change their body tone or whatever, and I might joke about it and say, because oftentimes it will be in the context of kids because I have young kids. I have a 5 and a 7-year-old. So I'll meet another parent, another dad, another mom, and say, "Don't ever call me," because that means that you guys are going through divorce. And so I think that, but their body language will sometimes be like, "Oh, you must just fight a lot." And I think, yeah, there's the misconception of lawyers. I mean, we have what the War of the Roses with the movie, and it's this knockdown, drag out affair, and people talk about custody battles. And oftentimes people are surprised when we'll come into a case or a consultation, and it's interesting because we will have to earn our client's trust. The first people don't hire us to say, "Oh, no, you're totally wrong and you're not going to get quote full custody." Everyone, not everyone, but a lot of parents will come in and say, "I'm either worried about the other parent going for full custody or I want full custody." And then we have to explain that that is rare and there has to be reasons. And so we will guide them through the process and oftentimes disabuse them of some misconception. So last week we recorded a podcast on fault. And so when there is an affair, someone will come in inevitably and they will believe that the affair should matter for them getting full custody because they are, the other party had an affair that they should somehow get full custody. I understand on a human level why they feel that way. They feel like the other person is dishonest. They are just emotionally really upset. And so we will oftentimes go through with our clients and to explain to them that various things that they thought mattered may not. And the other aspect that we have to counsel our clients on is both the cost, which I know that was part of your survey, but in addition to that, Colorado is one of the only states where we are ethically required as attorneys to advise our clients about the impact, the negative impact that litigation and fighting can have on children. And so that is, I think, when we clue them in on and pull back the curtain from on the process and to say, A, this is going to cost you a lot of money. B, it is going to be very stressful. And C, you may not, or you likely will not get what you are seeking. Then it's more of, we can then talk about settlement and come to an agreement. It may take some time and then negotiations, and we'll get into the timing of a divorce. But those are just the immediate reactions that I have that would be consistent or relevant to what your study is. The final point that I would add is that when there are a lot of cases in which one party will hire a lawyer because they will say, I need help, I don't understand this process, and then the other party might just have, I am the smartest guy or woman in the room, and I don't need a lawyer to tell me what to have. They, in their mind, they already know what's going to happen, and they've convinced themselves. And so there's that element. And there's a countless number of times, Shay, where I will tell my client that the other party, they don't have an attorney, and the best thing for them, because they're always worried about this, divorce lawyers are going to make it worse, and I'm really worried about costs. And that, I understand that. But also, I will tell them the best thing that could happen is your husband or your wife hire someone, because then that attorney will have the same process or same conversation that I just went through about disabusing them of various things that will matter. So I suspect that that is often why you see the one party having an attorney and then the other part. There's a reason for it, where they oftentimes just are kind of so either arrogant or ignorant, and that they will just drive the process because they just have unreasonable expectations.
That's interesting. I was eager to hear your take on that because I could think of two possibilities when we're talking about why cases where only one side is represented is less they're less likely to settle. One is what you've said, so it's the unrepresented parent who's probably being pretty headstrong and saying, "No, I will not settle. Let's keep going. Let's go with litigation." And then the other one I thought of was, well, maybe in some cases it's the attorney who's saying, "We have the upper hand here. We have all my legal knowledge, and it's not advisable usually for a parent to go to court without a lawyer, especially when your co-parent has one."